Good times and great music at 2 and URFM 103.7. Time to have a look at some of the things happening in the world of science. We do that with Professor John O'Connor from the University of Newcastle Sciences, who today, John, this was almost the science of the mind this time around, because we're looking at ways to detect lies. And I played a clip earlier on of the great philosophical mastermind, George Costanza, who had the great line that it's not a lie if you believe it. And it turns out that really is all you have to kind of do.
It is true, Mark. And look, truthfully, I've got to tell you that previous studies have shown that dishonest and deceptive behaviour can strain the brain, and you need more cognitive energy than simply telling the truth. So it takes more effort to tell a lie than the truth. They've shown scientifically. And they've worked out that to outsmart lie detectors, you've got to lie tellers, you've got to engage them in something else. And this has lately been proven by a group from the Department of Psychology at the University of Portsmouth in the UK, and reported in the International Journal of Psychology and Behaviour Analysis. So they're the sorts of people who would be doing lie detector tests and so on. And lie detector tests can be fudged, so they're not a good way of doing it. But
you know, we hear so often about those. I mean, you think, well, I think I can beat the test. And is that an easier process than you think?
I don't think it's easy, but certainly people have shown they can do it.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of behaviours that actually fudge the physical responses that you get, blood temperature, heart rate, skin temperature, heart rate, sweat rate, all that. You can fudge that, but
by being as cool as a cucumber, if you can.
Don't know if that's it. The way they tested this though was they got over 160 people, and they first asked them about their opinions on controversial topics like COVID passports, immigration, Brexit, Boris Johnson. As you can see, this is the University of Portsmouth, the UK, so all of those topics. So they worked out what people believed, honestly, and then they broke them into three groups. One group had to in the next section tell the truth, and they're going to be interviewed. The other group, which was 2/3 of them, were also asked to remember a number plate and told that that was part of the process. And then a third group, half of that group, so another 1/3 of that total group, were told that remembering that number plate was really important. So you've got truth tellers, a group who were told that, remember that number plate. A third group, remember a number plate, and this is important. And to make the whole thing, give them an incentive, they were told that if they could convince the people they were going to go be interviewed with, there was a cash prize. They'd go in the draw for a cash prize. So, there's the financial incentive.
Now, those two groups that had to remember the number plate to varying degrees of importance, they're the groups that were expected to lie? Okay.
That's right. So they've got to lie. So what they're doing is, while they're the truth tellers just tell the truth. They can do that. The other two 1/3 groups have to tell a lie, have to lie about their beliefs. If they thought Boris Johnson was terrible, they had to go in there and tell them that Boris Johnson was the best thing since sliced bread. And so, yes, they had to go in there, and they were the researchers who didn't know which group was which. We put them through a series of interrogations, and they found that they could more easily tell the lie the more committed the person was to actually thinking of something else. And so the ones who really had to think about the number plate and knew the number plate was important, they were obviously concentrating on that number plate while they were trying to tell the story. And then the second group who were telling lies, they had this mild remember the number plate business. They were caught out, but not as regularly. But it certainly shows that the pattern of introducing the secondary task can facilitate the lie detection. And it doesn't have to be remembering number plates. It can be things like gripping an object or holding an object in the air or driving a car simulator. Instead of the old days of putting someone on strung lights, it's put them in the driver's seat and take them for a drive and interrogate them.
So again, just very these tasks on their own, just very benign, nothing tasks. But when you're told that these tasks are sort of important, and then your brain is kind of divided between what it would normally be doing to do the task, but to sort of keep that lie in the air.
There has to be, and there has to be a commitment to it. So if you were in one of these groups and they didn't have those things like winning a cash prize, you may not be committed to remembering the number plate. I'm not going to remember that number plate. What's the point of doing it? But when there's a cash prize there, people will work on it. So, it's a matter of there's got to be a commitment to another task, either remembering something or doing something. That then uses up some of your cognitive energy, and it makes it harder for you to formulate a reasoned, believable lie, as opposed to a series of phrases that don't quite connect and perhaps are not consistent.
Wonder if we could, in certain circumstances, substitute winning the cash prize to going to jail. You tell a lie that's, I did not do this, and well, we'll see if we can catch you out. Real-world implications, though?
I'm sure there are. Yeah. It's a matter of making sure there's a commitment. And as you said, George Costanza told us the way around this.
That's right. It's not a lie.
If you really believe it, then, of course, you can't test it this way. If I really believe so, well, actually, if I told you a lie but told you it was the truth, then you wouldn't know it's a lie. You'd believe it's the truth, and then you wouldn't fail this test because you believed that lie, which is the George Costanza version.
So I get a second-hand untruth.
That's right, it's a second-hand untruth.
All right, John, lots to think about there. We'll talk to you next time around.
Thanks, Mark.
There he is, a Professor of Science from the University of Newcastle, on an interesting way there to detect liars or lying. On 2NURFM 103.7.
A broadcast service of the University of Newcastle.